It's a dark and depressing time for the U.S. We can barely afford the high rents and the cost of food. Many of us do without something to get by, such as not getting health insurance. That can be catastrophic if you have an accident or health emergency, but that's the position many of us are in. We have to make tough choices to survive. What will we do without? Everyone is broke. Part of the reason is that jobs don't pay enough to allow you to survive in the U.S. If you're in the tiny percent in the upper echelon earning a high salary, you might have a chance to do okay. For the rest of us, the working stiffs around the country, there's little hope and not much chance to escape or have a better life. Our parents wanted us to go to college, do better than them, but we ended up in debt up to our eyeballs, living off credit cards, and unable to even have the most basic, bare-bones existence. A roommate at my seasonal job, long-term tour guide at national parks, is in his mid-60s and getting close to retirement age. He's also a veteran and did his service mostly in South Korea in the 1970s. Still, though, he can't afford to retire in the U.S. He's researching and looking into Portugal and the Philippines. He's worked his entire lifetime, and this is his reward. No chance to retire in his home country. If he does stay in the U.S., quality of life will be abysmal. He'll have to live in isolation, most likely. It sounds like kind of a depressing existence. He's also thinking of continuing to work part-time as a tour guide into his retirement, even though he's burnt out and no longer really likes the job, having to deal with some of the people. And we're stuck on the hamster wheel, working long hours with little time off and no vacation time, grinding out an existence, just scraping by. It's brutal and not a nice way to live. Having a good quality of life is a challenge these days. There's no hope of this changing, of the situation improving. If anything, the cost of everything will just keep rising. Rent, food, having a car, health insurance, it will keep going up. That's the trend, and nothing seems likely to reverse that. The country, both parties, prioritizes funding wars and aid to foreign countries, usually just bribes to get them to go along with our foreign policy. The American people are an afterthought. We are just tax cattle to them, and we get little to nothing back in return for all the taxes we pay. Minimal improvement in infrastructure, anything that might improve quality of life. In some cities in the U.S., the reality of life is brutal. I spent a couple months in Las Vegas between seasonal jobs early this year. Not necessarily a fan of Vegas, but I love the desert, and Las Vegas is in a great location, a few hours from many incredible places to get outside and hike. Red Rock Canyon, Valley of Fire, Zion National Park, Death Valley, Joshua Tree, Grand Canyon. I really love this part of the country. I paid way too much staying at a couple Airbnbs by the month. The temp work wasn't steady enough. I wasn't getting enough hours. In the neighborhood where I lived, about 2 miles east of the Strip, there were tent cities popping up every few days, people sleeping on the sidewalks in broad daylight. A few blocks away from the Strip, the streets are filled with trash. No one cares enough to clean it up. The city seems to not care. It was depressing living in a place covered in garbage and homeless people sleeping everywhere. That's the reality in many U.S. cities. You can't really go to certain parks because they're filled with homeless, people doing drugs right out in the open sometimes. It's a sad and depressing sight to see. And the place is not walkable at all. I still got around by walking long distances and taking the bus, but there's a shit ton of traffic and it's not a very enjoyable place to walk in. People look at you like you're homeless or a freak or something. This is representative of cities around the U.S. The government doesn't care. The opinion of the people doesn't really matter. Special interest groups, lobbyists control everything. The people are at the bottom of the totem pole. All the tax money we pay is being funneled into the pockets of the elites. Most people know this is the game being played, but we don't have any power, no voice. We don't get a real say in where our tax money goes. So much corruption. We're propagandized possibly more than any other country in the world. All of the mythology of being a beacon for democracy for the rest of the world, all of the mythology of how great everything is and how terrible and scary the rest of the world is. These are sad and dark times for America and for the world, really. The middle class has been devastated. We're turning into serfs again in a kind of neo-feudal dystopia. All of us poor and struggling to survive, and a group of billionaire elites at the top. Like many people these days, I will likely be looking to leave permanently at some point. No country is perfect, but I've done enough travel and working overseas to know there are places with a better quality of life where there's not so much pressure to survive as here. Where there is affordable living, a vibe of peace and calm, instead of the chaos we always seem to have in the U.S.